What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we are out at Murphy's MX in Red Rock, Texas. This was my first time checking it out, and this video is going to be for the trails that they have on there. It's going to be a shorter trail than what you may come across at some of these other ones in the general Austin and Central Texas area. But this is about 3 miles of single track. And regarding the difficulty level, this is going to be more for your beginner, and you can step it up if you want to pick up the pace, and you'll be running a lot faster than what some of the other people do. This was my first time out here. That it is comparable to some sections of Spokes MX that is out by Lockhart, Texas, and it is just a great old time. So here we're riding out, and we're going to find the single track. It's actually next to the night track. You kind of meander back on there by the mulch. There isn't an actual road that goes there. We ended up circling back the first time, and we went back in that direction once we figured out where it was. So here we are. We're going by the entrance to the night track. You can jump in on there and basically just look for that Chevy sign and just keep on going straight. You're going to go over the mulch. So as you go up to it, you're going to want to take a right. There's going to be a sign, so keep on going straight. Here comes 2. You can see the sign up ahead, and you're going to be going to your right. We passed it the first time, trail entrance. And now you're on the trail at Murphy's MX. It's, again, it was stated, is fairly friendly for newer riders. There was a couple sections that did give me some difficulty where I just kind of started getting sloppy. I have a bad issue of tensing up and using my arms more so than my lower body to navigate the bike around, and we need to work on gripping our plastics, driving our knees into the plastics, and then just letting our upper body be loose, let the bike dance a little bit. We have been riding dirt for a couple of months now. We got the bike about a year ago, but for all the seat time that we had, we can probably bring that down to a couple of months. That we didn't ride it much in the summer because it's just miserable, so we're taking as much time this cooler season from winter up into spring to enjoy the cooler riding temps. That today was about 60 degrees, and it's a really nice section. That the only issue that I would find is there's a little bit of overgrowth that we kind of run into, but there's a tree near the end of the trail that's hanging down that take that section slow for sure, because we would come up to it, slow down, and it seemed like there was very minimal clearance. That if it's your first time hitting the trails and single track in general, this is a very good one to start off with. I wish there was a little bit better of a markings. There was a couple sections that in our first run, this is the second time we hit it, that we failed to follow the trail. We kind of ended up finding a little bailout section, but we realized it was the wrong way, and then we had to double back and get back on the trail. The second time was a little bit easier, but the first time we were unsure if we went left, when we went right, and so forth. It was very fluid, and there was a couple intimidating sections where it just looks a lot taller than what it is. That was a cool little part right there. There we, I think, shifted into neutral, or we pulled our clutch in not realizing it, and then so we were going down with a lot of speed, and so it gave us a little bit of a chuckle. So there was some branches, some overgrowth, and for the most part we're in second gear. We do need to work on some sections. We're kind of, we could probably afford to go a little bit faster. Like right here, we're kind of a little comfortable. The one thing I really did like compared to Spokes is there was more people worried about riding on the main track for the MX track as well as the night track, and there weren't that many people on the trail. So here we could have gotten probably an extra gear. There's plenty of room to open up. That we essentially had the trail open for 2 of the passes that we did, and for the third time we went, there was some people that went just in front of us, and so we were kind of following them. And at the end of this actual clip, you'll see someone that was probably gaining on me. If not, they were very kind and just kind of sat in the back, and when they found a moment to pass, they passed me. They almost wiped it. And it was kind of amusing. So there, where we went left, the initial time we went right. And there's a couple sections where you can pass. But there's probably about 2 or 3 little spots that the trail you think can go in either direction. And it probably does, but when we went, it just looked like we were doing a bailout like onto a main road for the Murphys. And this is going to loop back around to the first section, basically where the entrance was. You're going to just come out the other end, and you can either do the loop again, or you're just back on the main portion of Murphys. Cool little section. And there again, where we went left, the first time we went right. There it is. You can kind of see it on the right section. Then we went right there again. So basically, right now, you could probably just, if the trail splits, just stick to the left side. Is what we were coming to notice. And we also ended up trying our hand at the main track as well as the night track. Every, I think, 2 hours for 20 minutes they have women and children time for the main track. And we met, it was Cash and Gus, I want to say, while we were out there, and they were super kind and just kind of gave us a little bit of a tip. They said when they're out, as long as you're not hot lapping, this was the first little intimidating part where we're just like, oh snap. You can go out there, you know, you're not blowing by everybody, you're just being mindful and careful of everyone out there. Then you're more than welcome to go while the women and kids are out there. And even then, some of those kids were just ripping. We went out onto the night track and these kids were jumping the tabletops, and it was so wild. It was such a fun experience that we're wanting to go back out to Murphy's. I just do kind of wish that the single track was just a hair bit longer. But for everything it offered, it was a really fun time, because if you want to increase the difficulty, as we stated at the beginning, you can just go a little bit faster, and that way you can work on your body position, clutch control. We were focusing on not modulating the clutch so much. We do have my pointer finger on the clutch right there in the footage, but I was trying to focus on just letting the bike do its thing and trying not to tinker with the clutch so much, because I get a nasty arm pump. It's also learning to be smooth. We could use a lot of seat time to help us improve, but from where we were at when we first started riding, I think we've done a pretty good job. We can definitely do a lot more improvement, but just not freaking out and keeping on to ride versus stopping every so often because of our arm pump. There was that low-hanging tree where I think the third time we went, we came up a lot spicier on that, and when we kind of ducked last minute, I don't know if I just took a slightly shallower line closer to the tree, that we just got a little bit of a scuff on our helmet. So we're nearing the tail end of the trail. That I think it had rained earlier in the week, but it dried up just enough. There was a couple sections where you could see where the mud areas would have been. That was the intimidating section the first time. Just because whenever you're standing on the pegs, it just looks so much taller because you're up on the pegs. And then here, when you're riding this part of the trail, you can actually see the trail, but when you're looking at it on video, I know it just looks like I'm riding through a bunch of random trees making my own trail. But again, the recap would be for them to just kind of clear some of the brush just on the sides, and maybe a slightly more emphasis on some markers for the trail to stick left and right and so forth.
Oh shit!
I don't know if the front end almost washed out on that or if it was our rear that started walking out. There's the other guy, and he almost eats it there. He almost just washes out. Pretty sure he didn't hear me, but then now we're coming out where on the left right here is where the trail starts. There's the yellow sign. And so you could probably just do another left and get back and start the trail again. On the left is going to be the kids track, and then we're back in the main area. The right is going to be the main track, or excuse me, the night. So on the right is the night track. Hope y'all enjoyed it, appreciate it. Be sure and like and subscribe, and catch you on the next one.